Today I am going to show you guys how I use Google Keeps to keep up with lesson planning on the go. I know, sounds crazy, but hear me out. So, if you are anything like me, you get some of the most craziest ideas when it comes to teaching or something you can do in the classroom at some of the most oddest times, I swear. Like, I would have some of the most random ideas in Walmart while sitting down at a restaurant, eating tacos, stuff in my face, and I'm like, oh, I could do this. So, I'm one of those. I used to walk around with this. Like, this was my go-to. If I had an idea, I had to throw it in my brainstorming book. But I couldn't carry that around with me everywhere. So I had to come up with a more efficient way to keep up with all of my great ideas on the go. And that's where Google Keeps came into play. So if you've never heard of Google Keeps is sort of like a task managing system through Google. And it's awesome. What I love about it is it comes in a desktop version and it comes in an app. So whether I'm at home working on something, I can keep up with all of my ideas and all my notes. Or if I'm on the go, I can just pull out my phone and hit that good old task, hit that good old keep and put it there. So this is the way I use it to lesson plan, okay? So say for instance, you are getting ready to plan a lesson for next week. What you wanna do is you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna go to keep.google.com, log in with your email address, create a Google account if you don't already have one. Or you can just go to the little tiles. You got your 9 tiles over there, and if you scroll down you will see where it says Google Keeps right there. Okay, so once you have logged into Google Keeps, let's start planning. So I am thinking about one of my first lessons after we do the relationship building and all the community builders. We're going to start talking about colonization. So I teach U.S. history. And so one of the things that I wanted my students to explore was the similarities and differences between gentrification and colonization. So I had this lesson in my head, and like I said, I'm going through the planning phase. It's they stay colonizing. So now what I want to do is I want to start gathering all of my resources, okay? So I usually start with my lesson objective, and I put that there, but I'm not going to write that out. Students will be able to, and then I do my essential question. And then I put that there, So now I'm going to start gathering my resources that I want to go into my planning. Okay, so first thing I usually do is I go to the web and I'm like, okay, let's see, videos on gentrification. And I remember this SNL clip that I ran into one time. There was also one on the Carmichael show about gentrification, but I want to find that SNL clip about gentrification that I once before saw. So I'm going to pull this one up because I don't know how I'm going to use it right now, but I want to put that into my lesson plan. So I'm going to drop that on my Google Keeps note. And then now I'm going to go back to seeing some other things. So I want students to explore gentrification in their community. So I'm going to do gentrification, excuse me, in Dallas. And so I'm going to pull a couple of articles because I'm thinking about ways where I can have one student or put students in groups and have them look at the various articles, and then we exchange those. So I'm going to go and I'm going to find me some more articles. Okay. Now my time is coming to an end, and I'm getting ready to finish up my whatever I'm doing, and I want to come back to this lesson plan because I want to go in, I want to flesh it out, I want to build the activities, I want to share with some of my colleagues. I'm just going to come back to it later. So we're going to move on. So say for instance there is a colleague that I want to share this lesson plan with, or this keep with. I'm going to find their name and I'm going to share it, and we're going to continue planning on this later. What I like is that if you're working with a team of other teachers, they can share what they're keeping up with to you, and you can plan on that. And another thing, it's really dope, is you can add your students to it, right? So let's talk about student choice and student voice, and students being able to engage in the planning process with you. So you just drop your students' email addresses on your keep, and if they found something that they thought would go with this lesson or they thought was interesting, they wanted to a resource that they wanted to share with you, then they can drop it on that Keep, right? So you just add that collaborator there, type in your student's name and who you want to share it with, and bam, save it. They're going to get a notification. So I'm done with this lesson plan, but I want to come back to it later. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to set myself a reminder to come back to this lesson plan later, right? So I'm going to set myself a reminder that I don't want to do it today, but I'm going to set myself a reminder for Monday morning at 8 o'clock. I'm going to set myself a reminder to come and finish this lesson plan when I get home, maybe when I know I'm settled. What I like about reminding is you can also set where you want to be reminded at. So I'm going to pick a place. I already picked a day. So Monday morning at 8 o'clock, I'm going to be reminded, right? So now I'm going to pick a place, and I want to be reminded when I'm at home on Monday morning at 8 o'clock. I want to be reminded to finish this lesson plan. So it's going to send me a reminder Monday morning at home. I've shared it with my personal account so that way I can continue working on it. And then I like to color code my stuff. So this is the first marking period. So I'm going to color it blue so that I know everything related to the first marking period is blue. And I have it in list view right now, but I'm going to put it into tile view so that way when I start with my lesson 2, 02, it is there. Now, here's the deal. I'm still working on lesson 1. So I don't want lesson 2 to show up before lesson 1. So I'm going to pin lesson 1. And when I pin lesson 1, that lesson is there and it's going to move it to the top of my feed so that I can keep up with what's going on with lesson 1. So this was just a quick video of how I use Google Keeps in the classroom to keep up with lesson planning on the go. Like I said, endless possibilities and opportunities to use this, planning with your colleagues, planning with your students, and even letting students use Google Keeps to keep up with what they're doing. So, hey, check this out and let's twist the way we do teaching and learning in your school. Bye-bye.